I'm going back. I'm flowing.
Well, Harris did say
we are not going back.
Well, we did.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
So been a year. It's been a year since the election. Before is Master going to sell us
tomorrow? Yes. It's been a year since the Red Scare. A different Red Scare.
Oh my gosh. So welcome to another episode of In the Middle. Yay. All the noise, all that, all the things. Child, we are in the middle of a blue wave, the Red Scare, the red wave, the election season. What is it giving? So many things to talk about, child. We're excited. We wanted to wait to this after this election so we can talk about it because y'all already know. Y'all already know.
You already know.
You already know. But before we get into all the things, how's everybody feeling? How's y'all week been? What did y'all do? What y'all up to?
I've been working. What's Roger said? Roger said, I work like a dog day and night.
Slavery. What she said? What she said? Slavery from upon nobody wants to touch.
Nobody wants to touch.
Girl of mess. So you dressed up like Janet Jackson for Halloween?
Please. Oh, so you doing the bending?
Ain't nobody
literally ain't nobody bending me over. Oh, so you doing the bending? No. But I've been working.
Okay.
And I also have recently become a hashtag gamer, GAYMER, you know. So I've been playing. I know. We must do something about the LGBTQ community. But I've been playing a lot of Spider-Man. I've been playing a lot of Miles Morales. I've been playing a lot of The Last of Us. I've been playing...
what, on your phone?
No, on the PS5. So funny enough, I bought my fiance a PS5 for their birthday / our anniversary this summer. Mm-hmm. And somehow I've been the one playing that motherfucker. And I have just become obsessed with like open world games. So I've been playing like a bunch of different games on the PlayStation 5 and I quite enjoy it. So every day after work, when I'm trying to like debrief, instead of like what I used to do, which was hop on Netflix or hop on Twitter or whatever, I've been hopping on the game system.
I love that for you.
Oh, you are. That is. I would have never guessed.
I know.
I'm like, girl, what is she talking about? I have Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and I don't have. I've watched the gameplay for The Last of Us.
Me too. I watched the gameplay because I wanted to. I watched the show.
I really enjoy it.
I love watching gameplays. I can watch gameplays.
Interesting. Maybe I should start my own little Twitch account.
Maybe you should. Listen,
I show Deshaun.
Are you going to be giving commentary on the worlds that are in the game?
Listen, the way I be cussing them bitches out, I might need to. I'll be in there cussing the motherfuckers out.
Oh, you a gamer for real? Like this is your personality.
I love that.
It's very different for me. Y'all know I don't be really playing no game systems. I have a Switch that I never play. I used to have a PSP. I used to have a PlayStation 2 and as a kid, but now I've been like playing this PlayStation 5 and I really have enjoyed it a lot. I might need to get myself
one. I had a PS1 when I was like in middle school, I think, in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I've had them all.
A GameCube. I had a GameCube, Nintendo, all of that.
I'm very much Nintendo girly, and like if I got a game today, I'd get a Switch.
I want one of those.
But
I do enjoy the Switch.
And I mean, and I like PlayStation too. We've in our household always had PlayStations, me and my brother. But I don't
Period.
play as an adult. I feel like I have too many other hobbies, and like I be wanting to do it, and then I see how much like Switch or something will cost. I'm like, I don't want to spend that much money on a thing, and then it just becomes obsolete. It's not like when I buy like a laptop or
Yeah.
something. I know I'm gonna
Yeah.
use it, or this iPad I use every day. Like me and technology, I be having to be real with myself because I'll impulse buy and be like, "Bitch, you are not using this device."
Yeah, I have a PS5.
No, that's
and
literally
I
what happened to me
don't
when I
touch
bought
that
my
much.
Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first bought my Switch, I bought it back in 2021 after my breakup, and like fell in love with it. Was playing every day, and now that bitch sit on the damn like it's like on display beside my Brandy signed microphone.
Period. Come
I had
on,
to throw that in
sign.
there.
Sealed and delivered.
I'm yours, honey.
Speaking of Brandy, I got, I'm a patron of my local Black-owned bookstore, Kindred Stories, and they sent out the like what to read, what's coming, what to pre-order, and I saw that Brandy's book is coming out. I'm actually very excited about that. I'm very selective about the biographies that I buy, like as a physical copy. Most of the time, if I'm into like a biography or a memoir, I'll listen to the audiobook, especially if the writer's reading it. But I think I'm gonna get the Brandy book because I mean it's Brandy. Like I love her.
I didn't know about her Brandy book coming out.
I was about to say,
So
now you just told me something because I didn't know she had a book coming out. I'm her biggest fan.
yes. Yeah. It was like I said, it was in the Kindred Stories Houston. When you're on their like list or whatever, once a month they send you a thing that's like, here's all the events we're doing, here's the books that are coming out. And yes, Brandy has a book coming out. And I think it comes out this month, or it'll be out in time for Christmas. So, you know how a few years ago,
okay, is it the Brandy Phases, a memoir?
Yes, that's it. Brandy.
Okay, it says hardcover will be out March 31st, 2026.
Okay, well, it's for
Okay.
pre-order. So
Okay, wow.
I was like,
Okay.
look at that. Not me knowing
wow.
something about Brandy before, y'all. I had that.
No,
literally.
Like, I'm
seriously.
kind of
Y'all
like,
used to be hot
I'm
off the
gagged.
press
Brandy
with
book.
the Brandy.
I'm gagged,
news.
honey.
Do we know any
Yes.
other Brandys?
I'm saying
What other Brandy is there to know?
The
I'm
only
talking
Brandy
about, I don't know. Well, I only know one person named Brandy. I don't know too many people named Brandy.
Oh, I
I
know
mean, I know
several
people
people named
that-
Brandy, but
yeah.
Okay, I only
They're
know
not
one person.
her.
We were in the we were
Not
in the
her.
we were in the army together. She was my co-driver.
Oh.
Sadly, she passed away. Rest in peace to Brandy Round. She was very sweet. I loved her.
Happy Veteran Season to you, Justin.
We will not be wishing no veterans.
I was gonna say, oh, imperialism. But
I
don't you
mean-
know that I'm
No,
the
didn't the election
son?
tell y'all that I could have both ends? The election told me I could have a little empire and a little commie. You know, I could do both.
That's what they said. They said
That's what
democratic
they said.
socialism for the win, honey.
Democratic socialism, affordability is the word. Today, okay.
Okay.
So, not too much going on in my world. I have been sitting in front of my aquarium. Just I would have never guessed that this would have brought me so much joy. Like I cannot
Aw.
escape
I love
it.
that.
It is. I don't know. It's so weird. Like I was like, oh, I'm just posting content of my shrimp that I bought and the clownfish. I'm like, these people gonna be, girl, what else? We need something else. Like, we need something else. Like, what's going on? But it has brought me a lot of joy. I've been sitting in front of it, reading, and just one to myself. Like, I've been buying plants and all the things. I don't know what the hell is going on with me, but I am loving all of the things that I'm feeling. So I'm so happy for
I
that.
love that.
Me
I
too.
know.
Like nesting. I love that for you.
Yes, and bitch, I had a picture to go viral on Twitter, which
Was it of your belly? Because I was
girl,
definitely
I had did a,
saw
me and Nesty in the comments.
as a certified patron, I did see that you made a post about that, but I didn't see the actual picture. So now I need to go look it up.
Oh, yeah, you need to look it up. It's a tree. I was like, oh, okay. This is what we doing.
Okay.
I was leaving the movie theater and it was like the first thing that was up on my screen.
now my stomach was the first thing on the screen. But yes, it was it was a conversation that I had to do behind the paywall, which was really good, and a lot of people appreciated the vulnerability and things. So it was a conversation, but yeah, my week has been good. Weekend's been good. besides that, here go Deshaun, child. But you should definitely watch it because I would love to.
I'm gonna like it from the other account.
So much to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about that because me and Deshaun are recording a video about their music taste and all the things for their Patreon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't wait for that because there's been a lot of music that has came out and people have asked Deshaun, we want to know what Deshaun thinks. We want
I want
they want pop my butt.
The fact that you said, like, girl, that's a key to me. I wanna.
Zach ate that up, but I'm not going.
He did. I'm sorry. He did. He did.
Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, shout out to the Texas baddie, Megan Thee Stallion. You know what? I'd rather take a song that really don't instead of being MAGA. But
I rather would.
I'll take that.
I'd rather take a bad song than be a part of MAGA Hive. I would.
It's actually, yeah, it's not that hard of a decision to make. I don't know. It's either like MAGA fascism or floppy song. I don't know. Anything but one of those, anything but one of them.
Quite
simple.
simple.
We have to pick a struggle. But speaking of struggle, let's talk about the struggle that
Hey, I didn't go. Nobody heard what I got going on.
Oh, I thought you did when you said the branding stuff. My bad.
Oh, no. I mean, I was just chiming in.
Oh, no.
I
well,
see.
we always
Look at
want to
me
hear
getting
about
rolled.
branding.
Oh, my God. That's crazy. No, like Deshaun, I too have been working a lot. We have been fuzzy over at the WAG. As you know, as the people have seen, if y'all follow Scalawag, we have been cooking both on the social media front and on the publishing front. There's a whole lot of new content. I think Scalawag published 4 or 5 pieces last week. It's only Wednesday and we've published 2 or 3 this week. We published 2 today and 1 Monday, 3. So yeah, there's no short, maybe close to 10 new things over at Scalawag for the people to go read, and I'm excited. So that's been keeping me busy, but I've also been outside in the Houston streets. I attended Afro conference. Very, very interesting vibes. As a lefty, I tend to forget how much of the default of the young Black community is still hashtag Black excellence. And it was very interesting seeing that much young business professional minded, innovative Black folks just like in these booths for all the techno fascists. So it's like, on the one hand, it's pretty cool, I guess, like as an idea, and I can see why people go for it. Like tech jobs are tech jobs. They're really plugged in with the HBCUs and everything. But I'm like, wow, Microsoft and Google and Netflix, like this is how the other half lives. So it was an interesting experience. But on the grassroots side of things, because we always doing things with the grassroots, I was a part of a really dope program associated with Afrotech. So Media 2070 and the Black Future Newsstand, that is a nationally traveling exhibition. They came to Houston this week, and I sat on a panel with some really cool, dope folks talking about Afrofuturism as non-futurist. So that live video is up on the Instagrams as well. It's like reshared from my account, but I had a great time. Always lovely to be out in the streets, and there's continued Black Future Newsstand events happening for the next couple of weeks in partnership with the local org, the Pecan Project. So yeah, folks are in Houston, check them out. There's an event tomorrow night at the Reading Room. Shout out to the Reading Room. So yeah, I've just been in my community bag, been to the movies, been watching a lot of horror, it's 'tis the season. And I've been reading my books. So doing a lot of yoga, reading my books, touching
Period. I love some horror, and it has been delivering.
I have not started Welcome to Derry yet.
Welcome to Derry is good.
I wanted it to be like how I did Alien Earth. Remember, I let it get to like 3 or 4 episodes and then I dove in.
Mm-hmm.
I need the same thing for this show because I understand the writing to be very good. And when something has very good writing, I don't like to watch it like week to week. I like to watch it in bulk.
They have talked about What you said you don't watch horror, Deshaun?
I don't know nothing about no horror. I've been watching Nosferatu. That's horror.
Horror dick and coochie.
Not that
Oh.
way. Not the new movie. They're talking about the Netflix series.
Yes.
Oh, I saw that and I was like, okay.
It's good. I like it.
Okay, I'll check her out. Welcome to Dairy. I would love to do a Patreon exclusive video with you about that, because I am so like, we're already in this Jim Crow ass era and all this, like, it makes me so fucking nervous for the black characters. I'm like, bitch. Like,
Well, so I'm very interested to watch the show because in all of my vast interests as a scholar, I love suburbanism as a concept, especially in urban theory, and the way that shows up in pop culture. So much of like the 60s, 70s, and 80s horror were reflective of the times. It was a revolutionary, post-revolutionary time. And so like horror from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s, when you look at Scream, like the center of it is suburban peril, like young white suburban kids who being turned out by the horrors of the world and the anxiety, which is what Stranger Things and shit is playing on. And I think it's interesting how in the period of gentrification, so much of popular horror, like especially black horror. So I'm thinking like the new Candyman movie. I'm thinking Lovecraft Country had it. Now Welcome to Derry. Us on Amazon Prime. All those shows are like the black version, because in those periods, remember, black people were literally like, white people would rather bomb houses than let black folks live next to them. And that's just like one of my favorite articulations of negrophobia. So I think it's interesting how in a period of peril in the 20th century, suburban peril comes online for white folks. And then in the BLM gentrification era, like, we want to keep showing you the Tulsa Race Massacre and like black people getting, you know, eggs thrown at their cars for buying a house on a white block. Because that's, you know, one of the biggest things that scares white folks is us living next to them. So I'm interested to see how Welcome to Derry does this and how it enters that canon, because it's been so popular for like the last decade. So that's a little teaser. Down to talk about it when I start watching it on Patreon for sure. We can do mid-season or when the season wraps, we'll talk about it. We got to do something for the people.
Yes, I have enjoyed it. I just sent you a link to this podcast I was listening to. One of my favorite anchors, like journalist, Audie Cornish. She did a interview with a black, I can't remember her name, but she teaches horror in California, some university of California. I can't remember her name. But they had an in-depth conversation about what it looks like for like black people to be in these horrors, and going back to these times that you don't have to see a noose per se in these horror. You can see another version of it. And it reminded me of Sinners when we heard, I can't remember his name. He was telling the story of what happened. This tragic event happened, but we didn't see it. But we heard the sounds and stuff of it, and it was his storytelling that like made it like scary. I was like, yes, I don't need to see trauma. I don't need to see it, but it was something that happened in Welcome to Derry. I'm like, oh girl, but we'll talk about that. So little teaser, like T said, they showing us not interested. They ready to press X.
Deshaun does this
Real
Sharonda
Can we get back to Miles Morales in love with the interracial?
Deshaun does Sharonda like this at work as well, and I'm just like, between Justin and Sharonda and me, like, we have to indoctrinate them into the cult of horror. Like,
I just let y'all chit chat, honey. Because hey,
the Christian is still active. The Christian is.
I don't do demons. I don't play with demons. Okay, I don't.
So Deshaun, you not gonna read our Southern Gothic and horror?
I don't want to shut it to y'all. You niggas are everywhere.
I'm also like reading Beloved. I'm also reading Beloved right now, so it's just like really like spooky ooky time.
I do love Beloved, yes. And I mean, I love East Bayou. You know, like I love all the black spooky shit. I just have never been the one who like has gotten into films. I think like I know like a lot about TV shows, but I don't know a lot about the films.
Yeah, okay, that
I
makes
get
sense.
Beloved confused with Ease by You. I can't remember the concept of.
They're both Southern Gothic. Beloved is
Yeah.
the adaptation of the Toni Morrison story where
Yeah.
Oprah plays the main character.
Yeah, I did not like Ease by You when I was growing up. I was like, this is disgusting. I did
This is-
not like it. Well, I didn't like black people around that time either, so that
Oh,
explains.
well, that tracks.
I did. Like, I grew up watching some of these things, but some of the stuff, like, I just, it just didn't appeal to me. It just wasn't giving.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ease by You is a classic.
I know the girls love it. My mama, I think my mother loves it, but I used to burn the DVD or something, make copies to sell it or something. I remember that back in the day. But
Girl, not you admitting to a crime.
well,
Wait, they don't love you like
You
I
like
love
me?
you.
lock them up. Lock them up.
Wheels on the bus go round and round.
Yo,
Well,
shout out to their first, their lady that almost could.
yes, as we get into
This blue wave, honey.
blue wave. So
This
it is
blue
a
wave.
year since the defeat of VP Harris. She got her wig rocked last year, sadly. And now the conversation is, what the hell happened? Because we are seeing a lot of wins for the Democratic Party, even though these states and areas are kind of blue leaning anyway.
Mhm.
But what particularly happened in Virginia, like the Republicans looking like, girl, what's the tea? Like, we were supposed to, we thought we was gonna lose, but we didn't know we we're gonna lose this bad. We've seen Latinos come back to the Democratic Party. We've seen black men in New York vote more for Mamdani versus the black women. Like a couple of points more. Like you had
Black women love it.
61% of black men voted for Mamdani compared to black women. Like, I think there was like 54%, if I'm not mistaken.
Black women love a Negro liberal for real, like they do. And I wasn't shocked to see that after Eric Adams wasn't an option anymore.
Yes,
to be honest, because Eric Adams had that on lock. Like in a very similar way, the Cop City mayor got reelected in Atlanta because they don't have to do anything but be a black man that's excellent, and then people will just be like, my king, and vote for him. And it's
Allegedly.
Yeah, we saw the church come out damn near and defend Andre. Well, not Andre, Mayor Adams. I mean the same. Yeah, they were out defending him when was that, last year when he was indicted or some stuff? Like,
oh yeah, when he beat
they
his
was
pay.
like, not our black brother. Not our black brother. Y'all is not gonna throw away this good man.
I think that we're in a very interesting moment, right? So like Detroit just elected their first woman mayor in the city's history. And she's a black woman. Georgia has seen the first like Democratic win on like a statewide or state level in like 50 years.
Yeah.
With the Public Service Commission.
With the public, yeah.
Which the Public Service
that's
Commission
not federal.
Is important.
And so I'm like, this is just such an interesting moment. Like, New Jersey, New York, Cincinnati, so many places have like, quote unquote, they've stood up to the man. And so I think it's very like, I think we're witnessing a very interesting time because I think there are two things happening at once. One, right, like I think more people are voting. Zohran or Mamdani, like he turned out over 1 million votes, which is the first time that's happened in New York in a mayoral election in a very long time.
Since 1969.
Yeah, it's been like a long time since that has happened. And a lot of folks, so we're just seeing a lot more people voting than what we saw in the presidential election last year. And I think what the Democrats should be taking away from that is people weren't fucking with your candidate. Like, I don't know that it was just that people were not getting up to vote. It was that people were not inspired by Kamala Harris in the ways that they're inspired by Zohran, or the ways that they're inspired by a lot of other Dems who won last night. I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that people have seen the first year of Trump's presidency 2.0. The money don't look the same as what they thought it looked like in his first presidency. Heavy on thought because it's not actually what it looked like. But the money don't look the same. You know, there's this sort of amplified vision that we're seeing in terms of like what he wants to happen in this country. I think that fascism just feels a lot more clear to people, and so that I think made people turn out to vote. But I also think people felt inspired by Zohran and some of these other candidates in ways that they didn't feel inspired by Kamala, and I think they have to sit with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think, I mean, there are two things. So there's a huge difference between turning people out for state and local elections and turning people out for federal elections. And so what I've been listening to in the sort of liberal centrist news hubs of the world, your middle of the line, maybe kind of progressive outlets, some of the consensus is that the Kamala Harris loss absolutely looms big, and the whole Joe Biden debacle looms big, right? And these candidates like a Zohran, who on the surface offer something radically different, despite them being completely usurped by the Democratic party structure, right? So we have to hold those both hands. Is something so radically different from the Kamala Joe establishment, because people are pissed at establishment Dems, just like the MAGA folks are getting pissed off at a quote unquote establishment MAGA, right? Who aren't straying from Trump, and they're like, wait a minute, you know, like not my food stamps, or y'all didn't tell me these, you know, deportations were gonna like fuck up the job market and the food.
Or Trump told me, no, I can't run for state governor, so I'm gonna be pissed.
Right,
or state senate, so I'm gonna be mad.
Or you have the turncoats like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just be honest about the state of things.
Freaking me out. I'm so sorry.
Which is wild. And also you have the conspiracy theory, right? So like they're all in shambles, but I feel like on the left, for me, the way that I read this election, especially Zohran, is that you know, the left is seeking unity and they're seeking like consensus. And I feel like there's like no political monoculture at the moment. And what has been coalescing is the sort of quote unquote progressive end of the spectrum. So not revolutionary communist, revolutionary anarchist end of the political spectrum, though we have grown. But when society goes fascist, the entire society turns into a conservative society and everybody moves further right. And I do think a Democrat like Zohran, who has 100% gone into the Democrats' house and sided with the party and made very serious concessions from when he was trying to get into the primary, winning the primary, to now.
Notably his stance on Israel.
He has, exactly, we'll get into that. He's become very much usurped by in the establishment. And let's be clear, nobody's going to be the mayor of any city, especially a major city, especially New York, without structural adjustment. That's just like a farce. And so I will not be surprised at all when he doesn't deliver on the things that it was really cool, it was really desirable to make into a campaign platform, to then put in desirable social media content and then circulate to the masses at a time when the left, from the centrist liberals all the way over to the revolutionaries, need a W. They need a win. They need a unifying thing. And it was wild for the last year being on the left as we are, going to socialism conference, being online, being a part of left media as we are, watching so many of our peers on the one hand hold how dire and drastic things are under, you know, the fascist rollbacks, the fascist restructuring of the globe, and in genocidal times. everything's grave and serious, climate change and genocide and like, no food stamps. But then it's like, but like, we got this so we can go vote. And I'm just like, but girl, he said he's gonna work with Zionists. He's walking back those promises. He's in the Democrats' house. He's the leader of a major city that's a capitalist institution. I don't know. So I'm very, very intrigued in the year since an establishment Dem lost the presidency to MAGA 2.0, that the response from the left is this willingness to compromise. And it's symptomatic of a lot, namely the way that our movements were desirable for participation and not insurgent and violent. And they want to keep it that way because it really does keep the economy, the liberal economy of the left, rolling. So,
Yeah. He definitely had a call with Obama. I wonder how that went. We're like, I love that you brought up needed to win because it was very evident on social media last night, even right now.
Yeah.
That there's nothing been done. Like we've not seen anything. Groceries haven't come down. Rent, it's not froze. Nothing has changed, but it's this hope. And he said hope in his speech last night, which is very interesting considering someone else used that so many years ago.
The last time we saw this type of political motion was with the same, a different man who used that same word. Yeah.
And that's what the Democrats have been striving for since Obama. They're like, we have this machine of advertising and winning the public that works, but we need the perfect caricature to put in there. And so who comes after a cishet desirable Black man and his perfect family? Well, how about New York, post gentrification, New York? Let's give them a lefty. We're in a post Bernie moment where we remember Bernie was hot, Obama was hot, AOC was hot. How we put all that together in a bottle, shake it up, I can give you Zohran. And it's very interesting how much marketing, as Joy James says, the left is marketing. And
yeah, it is.
He ate with that.
It's wild how much has changed in this 1 year. I mean, we're starting off November the 4th with Dick Cheney not waking up.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Praise God for that.
We wake up to the news that I woke up at 6 something. Alexa said, girl, that VP that got us in Iraq, he is gone, child. Like, he is gone.
As Wendy Williams said, death to all of them.
Oh my gosh, she passed away. Interesting enough, I was watching the clip of the Joe Budden podcast that came on the timeline, and the way Mark Lamont Hill has to sit and coddle those men who don't know shit, like are not well read, don't know any goddamn thing, arguing him about how is he going to pay for the buses and haven't looked at the plan that has been put forth to how we're going to do it, but want to provide an opinion on it. Y'all niggas just in here yapping, just yapping. And it's do you actually care about these things? Because it's one thing to say, how is he going to pay for it? And you've done it and you debate like, how is that going to work? But you haven't put forth any effort to do any research. Like, I cannot take these niggas serious. But they also defended Mark Lamont Hill because he said, well, they were on him, my bad, because he was not here for Dick Cheney passing away. He's like, girl, I don't really give a fuck. And they were saying, oh, we don't speak ill of the dead.
Hold on.
We can speak ill on trans folks, victims of abuse. We can be abusers. We can let abusers on the platform. We can do all these things, but a fucking war criminal.
Yeah, not too much on her.
Yes.
I mean, everybody.
And the same as we're talking about VP Harris. VP Harris offered her sympathy for Dick Cheney.
Of course she did. She has to after she toured with Liz Cheney. Why wouldn't you offer it?
And she's also the former
and I bounced in the club and niggas wanna fuck me.
she's also the former vice president of the United States. Like I have
She has to hold the guard.
right.
Like
I have
this
an
is,
evergreen tweet that's just like, yeah, nothing, shows you that it's all one structure of violence than a state funeral.
yes.
Literally.
Everybody was sharing candy and chummy at Jimmy Carter funeral earlier this year. One of the pieces that I wrote for Scalawag a couple years ago talks about situates Atlanta as a war front through John Lewis's funeral, because in 2020, like, John Lewis died and you had Obama and the Clintons and the Bushes and everybody right there in Sweet Auburn, like holding elbows with Trump, they all, smile and giggle across.
Trump came to their funeral?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's the reason why Michelle Obama didn't go, because she would have had to sit beside him.
For I'm thinking you saying for John Lewis.
She was.
No, he didn't come for John. He did come for Jimmy Carter.
Trump was at Jimmy Carter's funeral because all of the living presidents are going to attend a president's funeral.
Yeah,
and their wives.
When Obama was like laughing and sharing a little jokey joke with.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, the interest of all of this is capital, and like we see the way that corporations and the techno guys are like moving markets by any means necessary. These elections aren't safe from that. They aren't untainted. They go hand in hand. And the fact that people are more eager to participate in the legitimation of a fascist state when it's this bad, like, the answer is we're going to fight for democracy, which to me, American democracy is synonymous with Western hegemony and empire. So all the blood in the streets and the oceans. More people turned out to vote than ever, but like, these are hotly fascist times, and I don't think this is something we should all be participating in, which is again why they have to find a Zohran that is so desirable you can't help but to go for it, or at least won't be willing to give it a shot. Because all of this is to save the structure, keep America stable enough so that capital can continue to flow without emergency and without crisis. And again, everybody woke up this morning excited and feel like they got a W, but baby, we're just counting down the days. Because when that AI bubble pops, when any of these, things finally crumble, like, these elected officials are not going to be there for you in the same way they haven't been through all of the hurricanes and pandemics and everything else that's happened in the last however many years.
I think it's just, for me, it's like we have lived through 8 years of Obama. We've experienced AOC. We've experienced Bernie. And so for me, it's like, I mean, hell, we've even experienced Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I don't know how much more the quote unquote American people have to witness the amount of quote unquote progressive, democratic, socialist, left politicians do the same song and dance for them to understand the fact that, like, the song and dance is contrived, that it is created for a purpose to indoctrinate people, to propagandize people into believing in a structure that has always shown them that it will fail you, right? And so for me, it's like, Zohran might get free buses, right? I don't fucking know, and I also don't, I don't know. But what I also know is that if that happens, there are several concessions that he has to make, and he's already made it clear that he's willing to make those concessions. I think the same thing is true with Stacey Abrams, right? We witnessed Stacey Abrams in real time make very real concessions to perform like an establishment Democrat, to try her best to win an election that, for all intents and purposes, she lost twice, right? The first one we all know was very iffy, but the point of that is to name that, like, in order to be able to represent, to be a sort of like state head, or to be a sort of figurehead for a representative of a U.S. city, state, nation, right?
Yeah.
There has to be certain concessions and certain things that you will concede to be able to push any quote unquote progressive policy forward. And to be clear, most of those things that you're trying to push forward are always intended to just be talking points. And I
Yeah.
think for me, it's like, at what point will we as a collective make a decision to see beyond the talking points and start putting the stats on the board, right?
Yeah.
At what point will we start to see, hey, under this president, we had this amount of Democrats, and yet this didn't happen. But under these Republicans, under this president, we had this amount of Republicans, and they made shit shake.
Mm-hmm.
What type of what then has to change for us to see that, like, the concessions are made, the commitments have been made, the dedications have been made to upholding a structure that they do not give a fuck about pulling you out from.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm at with all
I
of
think,
this.
and that is something that like we know intimately firsthand, Deshaun.
Mhm.
Like, I write and talk from this place that is always centering compromise. When you don't have revolutions, then there's always compromise and concessions. I have the book stack, as I typically do. I have critiques of every book, but this book here is by Haymarket, published by Haymarket. It's a collection called Revolutionary Rehearsals in the Neoliberal Age. And it's just a collection of history-based essays that show you crises, uprising, concessions, and how the state restructured itself after mass uprisings around the world. And then I have another one called How Nonviolence Protects the State by Peter Gelderloos. And I think those texts together, and I always have George Jackson's Blood in my eye, because they're talking about what happens when revolutions fail, when we don't go all the way to revolution and we get a fascist restructuring. George Jackson is famous for saying, like, the definition of fascism is reform, but what he's saying is, like, we have to look at the New Deal as structure, right? Exactly. Confronting counterinsurgency, Joy James. Like, you have to look at the fact that you're allowed to have elections right now as a concession so that they can continue, so that fascism can reform itself, so that it can perfect itself. And, I've been reading my Lenin. This is an essential works collection, but what is to be done is in 1902 or 1904, Lenin is real mad about democratic socialists. He sees them as a direct impediment to what is to be done, which is to say revolution, because the democratic socialists, the way that he explains it, for Lenin, what is to be done revolutionary wise is a full substitution. So overthrowing the rotten structure, abolishing it completely, and then fully substituting it with something completely new, which for him is socialism or revolutionary Marxism turned into a post-revolutionary socialist state, which is also what happened in 1917 when he got the Social Democrats and the liberals that they were willing to compromise with out of the way. And so I'm just thinking, and we are people that's jobs is the press, is the media.
Right.
Two of the books that I just pulled up have been published in the last few years. And from what you're saying, Deshaun, like looking at, okay, the trends in the elections, I don't think we've lived in an age with more information that breaks these things down all the way across the political spectrum. And I don't just mean reading books. I mean, like watching programs like this. Like, to prepare for this conversation, I listened to 6 readily available podcasts that dropped this morning.
Literally a Google search away.
Yeah, Google search, YouTube. So we're constantly
all it costs is your data.
Right. We're constantly scrolling and encountering the truth of these things. And I know, like, the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, was talking a few weeks ago when Trump was bombing the damn boats. And then Trump was like, I'm going to send the CIA down here. And Maduro was like, there's never been a sitting president literally go to the podium and say with his chest that I'm going to send the CIA down here. But my people know that our entire history of our region in Latin America has been political destabilization by the US and the CIA. So like we expect this to happen and we're ready. He has armed the masses, literally provided rifles for the people because he knows his history has shown him when we get too powerful, when we become a threat, the US and the CIA and they murder hundreds of thousands of our people to squash communism and left insurgency and them asserting their sovereignty. And so I'm like, why is it not clicking for us as an American left and a Western left? And we know it's our bourgeois conditioning, it's our privilege, it's our access. Like, yeah, we've always died, you know, we always have. We know that we're Black, but we've never lived under Pinochet. You know what I'm saying? We've never lived under, you know, these sort of regimes. And now that Trump is here, we're like, oh, I'm gonna run to the polls instead of saying, actually, what we should be doing is saying, fuck all this. You know, we need to be organizing with our neighbors, tenant unions, abolishing rent. Like, we need to be feeding each other. We need to be liquidating these stores. There's a lot of things that we could be doing with our time and effort. And I'm just like, if y'all gonna concede and go to the polls, like at least be smarter. Like, I'm really shocked at the number of people who think this is the way to go because this is actually gonna work. You know, I'm very much with you, Deshaun, on the like, here's all the points and we keep connecting them. And how is it every November, everything we know goes out the window and we're stuck with another election that's grossly important, but also like ostensibly is a waste of time.
I'm glad you brought up the CIA thing because Governor elect
Virginia,
Governor elect is a former CIA. She worked.
She's the first woman, but she's a CIA.
Who ran as a Democrat, as a centrist Democrat or whatever that means this week. Yeah,
I guess a Black woman Republican.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can we talk about the Black woman Republican? What was her name? Winsome Earl.
I forgot her name.
There's a picture of her on Twitter, and she was standing in front of the American flag. And she said she was doing this, and she said aura in the tweet. They were online libbing out yesterday, and they were dragging that picture. When I first saw it, I thought it was the Cowboy Carter concert. No shade, because was that not what y'all were doing this summer? In American flag wrapped up. I mean, if we're going to talk about it
while I sing my song,
because like, this is what it is. Like, there's a reason why when these folks come out to speak, it's in front of the American flag.
Yeah.
Like this is how it's supposed to be.
And it subliminally prepared you to continue to participate in legitimizing the American project, which is to say, the project of American democracy. Like, it's very like 1 + 1 = 2. We have a growing illiterate society, literally can't read a lot of people. Let's be honest about that. But then also media illiterate society. And it's just like, oh, if all we have to do is win the algorithm and give them something cultural to participate in, a desirable culture to participate in, then we'll get the outcome we need to, and they'll get some shit to keep them busy while we continue to restructure fascism to further exploit and extract and kill. And it's fine.
I think also the algorithm is working against a lot of people as well, because the things that you see and I see and Deshaun see can be different sometimes, like versus someone who's watching this now. They're not seeing these certain things. And I think that that's on purpose. Like, there's some things, of course, I'm going to see, especially on TikTok. When I'm talking about the algorithm, I'm talking about like on TikTok. That's the app that everyone is using compared to Twitter. And even Twitter now, you're seeing the people who have the same ideologies as you, but you're seeing a lot of white right-wing propaganda under every tweet. Like, I was going under Zohran Mamdani's like tweets and looking at his, and there were ads. You had people posting pictures of him in the Twin Towers, like racist, Islamophobic content just everywhere. And this is Twitter now. It used to not be that bad. Like Twitter is so bad now that someone can post a picture and they're like of you without your consent in a sexual way, and even if you report it, like it's not going to be taken down. Like we've talked about in the last episode, like all these media, TikTok, Twitter are now owned by who now? The Washington Post. Like these very wealthy, rich white men, such as Mark Zuckerberg,
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk,
Jeff Bezos.
They own
Larry and David Ellison.
They own all of these things where we consume media, and they are like okay with it being a specific type of way to cater towards their beliefs and things.
Yeah.
Like we saw how much money was thrown, unfortunately, at Cuomo.
Yeah.
Like those people did not want to see Zohran win. I think they're like, I get the conversation about the Democratic Socialists. I think also that they do not want people to believe there could be something better, that there could be something better than this. Like there's nothing wrong with asking for the government to take care of you. Like this is what the government's supposed to do. Like they're supposed to provide these things, and they've not been doing it. And like going back to what we said earlier, when the Republicans get in and they have control, they make shit shake. Like they make shit fucking. Trump has found a way to do several things that, oh, it's against the law. He's not supposed to do this. Y'all pulling up. This is in the Constitution now. He doesn't give a fuck. I mean, the Supreme Court now, this might be the first time that they come hard on him, and that's only because capital is at risk, because the economy is at risk. When it comes to these tariffs, they're trying to argue, well, Trump administration is trying to argue that the president does have authority to tariffs on whatever country he wants, and the Supreme Court is looking like no. But for the last couple of cases, they've agreed that the president has authority on several things, which is funny. Because when Biden finally worked to eliminate student loan debt, it was what? They considered it unconstitutional. This is not fair. So it's only unfair when the most vulnerable, like these concessions are the most vulnerable. Like we are the ones who are losing without. We are the ones, we're seeing our family members lose SNAP benefits, food stamp benefits, because of it. Oh, I'm going to pay the military. We're going to take care of the military. You don't give a fuck about the military.
My brother is in the Marines now. They weren't getting paid.
I had to schedule a colonoscopy through the VA because y'all gonna fucking pay me for my motherfucking time. Them niggas called me last week and said, we want to schedule it for March of 2026. I said, bitch, I'll probably be dead. Like, not that any illness or anything is going on right now, but when she said that, she started laughing because I'm thinking March of 2026 is how long, bitch?
Like damn near 6 months.
Yes, that's far away, but these are the benefits that we get after putting our so-called lives on the line for America and serving our country and all these things. Like all this shit is by design. Like they could do better. They don't want to. And I think that's the reason why you had a lot of people coming against Zohran Mamdani, because the idea of just questioning and asking, hey, yeah, there should be free buses. Yes, we should be freezing rent. And if all the rich, wealthy white people leave New York, so fucking what? People are already standing in bread lines. There are military families standing in bread lines right fucking now. This shit is already happening. People are being evicted right now.
Homelessness is higher than it has ever been in history.
Yes, it is. It's fucking ridiculous. Like I remember, we had a conversation some years ago, and you were talking about what happens when the trash cans are now empty.
Yeah,
because those who do have are not throwing away things anymore.
Yeah.
So we think about our suffering. Think about those who
Wow.
depend on what we throw away and what we no longer use. And if we don't have anything to throw away, we don't have any extra $10, $20 we've been throwing, like giving to our friends since 2020. What the fuck do you think is happening right now?
Yeah, I I think that folks were very against Zohran winning for a number of reasons, but one of those biggest reasons is New York City in particular is an extension of the state. You like in a way that is true for all major cities, right? And I think obviously T can speak better to this as the Black geographer on the call and the urbanist and the urban planning and all the things. But the point, like, cities are intended to build and maintain capital.
Yep.
That is their entire purpose. And New York in particular is supposed to look a very particular way as the extension of the state. And so there is no way for someone who believes that Palestinian people should be free, for example, who believes that poor folks should be taken care of by the government, who believes that Black folks shouldn't be murdered by the police, who believes that immigrants should have a right to exist in the U.S. There is no way for someone who believes those things to run and be completely unopposed or to run without being attacked, because the city is supposed to represent those specific ideals, right? That is the purpose of the city, because those ideals are the things that help to maintain capital, right? You get to make money off of deportations. You get to make money off of building police departments. You get to make money off of, producing these sort of like very capitalistic structures within a city. And the more people that you're able to put into a city to work, the better it is for the state, because they're making more money and building more capital off of that production. And so the reason why that is important to name is because I think that, like, folks were against and are against Zohran because of that reason, because they want to make sure that they have someone in place who can perhaps represent these marginalized people in the ways that and Adams would have before, right? LOL. While at the same time being clear about what their purpose is as the leader of a city, especially a major city like New York City. And so for me, it's like, what I want people to do is really study history.
Yes.
When you look at history and you look at the fanfare, the patriotism, the propagandizing that happens, especially when fascism is on the rise, especially at times of war, right? When you go back and look at history and the ways that patriotism, fanfare, belief in a free country, belief in the U.S. power and a U.S. imperial Western power is amplified in moments like these, you understand exactly why folks would be so vehemently against a Zohran, and why a Zohran would have to make specific concessions to be able to represent the people of New York in the ways that he's been assigned to do. And why people will push against a representation like Stacey Abrams, even with the concessions that she has made, because of what she would represent and what she could have represented in the moments in which she was running.
Yep.
And I think, like, those things also really, really matter. And you only get to those sort of like clearer understandings about how election cycles work and how the government works and how fascism works when you really study history. Because as the saying goes, there's nothing new under the sun. The things get recreated, they get repurposed, they get reimagined, LOL at that word, and until they are perfected. And what we're witnessing is the reimagining of a fascist state, and the Democrats are reimagining a fighting a sort of like pushback against that fascist reimagining that really only recapitulates or reifies the very same logics that brought us to this very moment.
So Deshaun, thank you for pointing that out, right? Like, this is why Zohran is the most desirable performing an insurgency or for the compromised partial substitution left, the progressives, the democratic socialists. He's also something we should be highly skeptical of if you're further left than that. But then by the same token, he is the right and the fascists and the centrist liberals' worst nightmare. But then also they need it too, because we know for the fascists and for the state and for empire, they update their technologies of captivity and repression when something like a movement pops up to stamp down. And the centrists, the Dems, the Democratic Party apparatus itself need Zohran because, as somebody put it, in John Lewis's terms earlier, I was listening to a podcast about the election. They were saying, Zohran is something to redeem the soul of the Democratic Party, which is, again, John Lewis's last demand or final utterance or prayer was that we redeem the soul of America and don't reelect Donald Trump, which is why Biden, won in 2020 in large part. But let's go back to like how state leadership functions, because I'm thinking of two ends of the Democrats are fascist too, sort of part of this. So in Atlanta at home, the Cop City mayor, Andre, he technically had other people in that race, but let's just say he ran unopposed. And Cop City opened April 29th, 2025. We spent the entire 2023 and 2024, besides Palestine, Cop City was the biggest movement on the radical, progressive, revolutionary left. If you are still invested in the state and the myth of democracy, Cop City sucked for you because y'all literally went around and did the petition thing. And Andre's government said, okay, girl, so y'all collected them names and we're just not going to count them because we can do that. And then, the folks that are willing to, because you remember there's supposed to be allegedly a diversity of tactics, like the folks that are more insurgent, the folks that did, get the political education piece of it, right? And understand how, as you say, Deshaun, having a shiny, state-of-the-art, once-in-a-world, lifetime, policing and surveillance apparatus, which Cop City adds value to in the same way, say, a football stadium adds value to
Precisely.
an urban apparatus. And we know that the same partners sit around the table to get the football stadium built, that also sit around the table to get Cop City built, that also sit around the table and their philanthropies fund the nonprofits that do the voter registration in the city. Like, that entire machine that I just described there has to move without a hitch. Atlanta's primary modes of production are two things: hospitality and big development. Develop a stadium so that I can build hotels and shit around it so we can have big games all the time. That's how we keep our city desirable for capital. Why do people want to have games here? Why do people want to build hotels here, build apartments here? Because we have this policing apparatus that ensures that your capital is safe. And so there is something about the way that Andre in particular handled Cop City, i.e. successfully delivered Cop City, where all the powers beyond us, I'm talking the heads of Chick-fil-A and Coca-Cola and Waffle House and Home Depot and the Atlanta Falcons and the presidents of all those universities, all those capitalist interests that delivered Cop City said that this man needs to continue to be the mayor.
Yes.
And on the other side, Gavin Newsom, who is a demon, quite literally, like, it gives the villain out of one of Octavia Butler's Parables books, the centrist that was in the first book. As governor of California, his latest stint, he did gerrymandering for the Dems. Now, gerrymandering
Literally
should quite literally be a problem for everybody. And I'm really into just not observing laws especially when things are a crisis. So his logic was, in the same way that the Republicans are redistricting states like Texas and North Carolina to deliver votes for the Republicans, he manufactured consent from the people of California to draw 5 new congressional districts to deliver more seats for the Democrats to help better fight off the Trump thing. So it's like, looking at this diversity of tactics, you only get a political spectrum. All of these people we just named are Democrats. Zohran, Andre Dickens, Gavin Newsom, the CIA lady in Virginia. We've only talked about Democrats on this call. We've mentioned Trump. We've mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene in passing, but we've only talked about Democrats. We've only talked about Big Blue. And I think it's like wild to watch them do all of this when the only thing to be done, well, for the revolutionary left, what is to be done is lights out. But these progressives that are just quite literally trying to cosplay that they trying and they doing something to maintain confidence so that people keep participating is really, really, really wild. It's really, really sad. And it's also really, really dangerous because none of them have made moves to turn the SNAP benefits back on.
No.
You know, nobody's made moves to stop the bombs in Gaza. Nobody's made moves to hold the United Arab Emirates accountable for what's happening in Sudan. And they cannot because capital will never allow them to. And so in their compromised position, what they're going to give you is ways to participate. Go to the polls, buy your merch, listen to your podcast, read your books, have your study groups, maybe do a little organizing, a little voter's ed, a little voting guide, show up and be excited, but nothing is going to fundamentally change. And as we've seen in Atlanta, people are willing to overlook Andre for being the cop city mayor when it's time to discuss where's the money for the Beltline. And the Beltline itself is problematic. But let's just pretend that that is not the steaming highway toward mass displacement for Black folks, and that it's a net good for the city, for the people of the city, not just the capitalist bottom line. I've watched a number of people be like, well, I know he's the devil, but he's the one in charge of the money. And so we need to be mad about that too, or we need to concede here and there. And I'm just like, they're going to keep sentencing us to doing hard time in lieu of revolution until, you know, we do something better. And none of the pragmatic options seem to be working.
None. I guess that's why we got MAGA Minaj. Another send in to get the troops in line. Well, this was a really good episode. I really enjoyed talking about these things. I just, do we have the midterms coming up next year?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where the Democrats move coming next year and what they do with this information, because Republicans are already trying to pin Zohran as the face of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and some liberals are quietly and jokingly whispering that like he's the new face of the Democratic Party, and I'm just like, that should make everybody on the actual left like shake, because wow, you backed a Democrat. A Democrat.
Well, any last remarks before we end it? All of the things. Make sure that y'all stay tuned for our next episode. Deshaun, you have anything to add before we call it?
No, just we're gonna be here. We're gonna be here in the middle of whatever wave. Okay.
Exactly.
In the middle of the blue wave.
The blue trickle. I will always
trickle down economics.
Girl, I will always amplify the wag.
Yes.
Everybody, you know, after you finish this lovely episode of In the Middle, then like go to Scalawag. Go to www.scalawagmagazine.org. When you get there, you'll be prompted to donate. If you have it, you know, we're still running our end of the year $20,000 match campaign. So you got $1, you got 20, you got 200. You want to sustain, you want to donate every month, you want to do one time. There's plenty of options. It's there on the site. But even if you don't drop off coin, please read the work. Our writers are working very, very hard, very, very diligently, and our team is doing a very good job of circulating information that hopefully can break through the cracks of some of this nonsense and educate the public at a time when they're burning the books and they're giving you a circus. We got to be grounded in something. So definitely support Scalawag, support our partners at Movement Media Alliance, and support your neighbors because they cut SNAP off. Bills are due. You yeah, the mutual aid thing is like an imperative at this time and not just like something fun to participate in.
Correct.
Absolutely. Until next time, we'll see y'all later. Sophia, bye. Not
Not the confetti child.
confetti.